We are definitely.
Hello, Wildflowers.
Hello, Wildflowers. We're the Wildflowers.
Yes, and I am Judy.
You are?
I am.
I'm
today
Carol.
And all day.
And I'm Carol.
And I am
Peggy. Peggy with the pineapple.
Who was the pineapple? See, we were just finding out that I had no idea that pineapples were a symbol that means that you're a swinger.
Well, it fits.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was told that, and also Adirondack chairs. If you had Adirondack chairs in front of your house, which I do. So there you are. I didn't know that.
No, that's, whatever. It's crazy how these things get started.
I know, all kind of interesting.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, ladies.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll be right back. You guys continue.
She's going to change her shirt.
Yeah.
What do we have going on this week?
Well, it's. When is this going to air?
The 8th.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
The 8th or 9th, right around there.
Yeah. So, my brother's coming from Maryland, so I'm excited about that. But you know how the dumbing down of America we've talked about.
I feel like I'm sitting too close to you. I feel
You
very...
look very close.
I'm like, look how far away I
You look
am.
very close. But I didn't
Would you ladies mind that I pour while we talk?
Not at all.
Because I'm keeping this kind of a secret today too. It's not
Okay.
covered, but I figured we could kind of get acquainted with it while we talk on our banter. Is that okay?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
So, this was in the paper. I tend to cut things out when I read it. I think, this will be interesting to talk about. Here's a headline. 13-year-olds in U.S. record lowest test scores in decades.
I've heard about that, yeah.
And it's just so disheartening. It says, this is from the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the gold standard federal exam. And it says, performance has fallen significantly since 2019 school's year, when the coronavirus pandemic wrought havoc on the nation's education system. But the downward trends reported today began years before the health crisis, raising questions about a decade of disappointing results for American students. And so the percentage of 13-year-olds who reported reading for fun has also declined. Last fall, 31% said they never or hardly ever read for fun, compared to 22% in 2012. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of that comes from what goes on in your own home. A lot of people don't read. And I mean, my grandkids are readers. My kids are readers. My mother was a reader. I'm a reader.
Yeah.
My father was a reader.
If they see you reading, then they will read. If they are read to, they will
Exactly.
include being read.
Yeah.
I mean, we read to our girls practically every night up until
I read to my
they were like
kids.
10 or 11. I
Yeah.
think. We read the whole Harry Potter series out loud.
Yep.
I love that.
The whole thing out loud,
Yep.
and I did it in accents. All
Yeah.
day. And they would call me on it, like, that's not Hagrid. But it's the Mysterious Benedict Society before there was the show. All you gotta if they see you reading to them and not just
I always wanted to read those books.
Great.
I know. I always am. I'm gonna have to pick it up. I'll see if Riley or Tate has it.
Yeah,
Well, it's been sad that so many bookstores have closed, but Peggy and I went to a bookstore.
We did in Sayville.
Which one?
It's called
Tiny Raccoon.
Oh, I
Tiny
don't know.
Raccoon
And that's near me. I should go check it out.
mostly used books.
Oh, I love used books.
Oh my God, I couldn't even get Peggy out of there.
I know, it took me a long time to
And they
love
actually are carrying Without Grace and Of Little Faith.
Yay!
So, and Daniel is the owner, and he is going to be on our podcast.
Yeah, he agreed to. We might do it there in his bookstore.
Look at this, a nice surprise.
He's the only employee.
Oh, so
of
we
the
could do it
bookstore.
in the bookstore?
Yes.
Possibly.
So
Oh, I love that,
Danny.
Carol said it might be a challenge for him, and I said, why don't we do it in the bookstore? And he said,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that'd be
thank
good.
you, Danny. That would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, a very, very cute store. Well, a lovely person.
Yes.
Very welcoming environment and
Yep.
interesting. He does a lot of events.
Yes, he does
You know.
events, and he's on Railroad Avenue
Yep.
in Sayville.
Yeah, right off Main Street in Sayville by the railroad.
And the reason we went there is because now I'm writing for Sayville Magazine, and so I wanted to get to know the area a little bit better. So that was fun, and we actually ate at the Shed.
Oh, what did you think? Oh my God, all
Loved
the
it.
secrets you're keeping from me. But I loved
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
Did you
It
like
was-
it?
Oh, very
It
much
was
so.
very good.
Did you have to wait for a table or?
No.
Oh,
No,
good.
no,
Yeah.
we went for lunch.
Okay,
We went at
gotcha.
lunchtime. And we got the lobster roll, which
Yeah.
was very good.
Did you eat inside or out?
We inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to get the bowl because I've had that bowl before because my sisters sometimes take out from there.
All right.
And the bowl is very good with the arugula and the wild rice and the yams and
We
it's-
loved it. We loved
Yeah.
that restaurant. It was great with kids. You could bring
Yeah.
kids, which we did. The service I thought was amazing.
We had
It's a
really
very-
good service.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a very cute place.
Absolutely.
So,
I
yeah,
had supper
that's-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We
yeah.
didn't have any drinks. We just had water.
Yeah, it was lunch.
Yeah, it was lunchtime. I try not to
Yeah.
do the day drinking thing.
She tries not to.
Well, sometimes I cave and I said,
You're failing today.
Yeah, I know.
So I know that we want to taste the wine, but you said you have
So I'm
something to banter
tasting, I'm
about.
tasting it as we go.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, because I want us to taste it, and then at the
fun.
end of the
Oh,
banter,
oh,
see if we
oh,
like
okay.
it.
All right.
So I already tasted
So what
it.
are we toasting
smells
to?
good.
Well, this is going to air July 8th, and I should be at the Counting Crows concert that day.
Oh.
So, Adam Duritz, I'm coming for you.
I like Counting Crows.
Oh, I
They're a
love
good
that.
band.
Oh. Right, it's maybe a little touch sweet for me, but let me see.
Really?
Maybe. We'll see. I got
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's give it we go a little bit.
Don't
All right,
taste
so we're
it
going to
to
go to the books. It's funny because I just finished a book, and which is not my turn today. But the next one I'm going to do it was a used book, and and I guess I'll say is I'm obsessed. It had a label on it that who it belonged to, and they blacked it out. But you could, how sort of even they black it, you can still see it. And I know the woman's name, and it has her address. She lives in Amityville, New York. And now I'm like obsessed with this. In my mind, I'm like, I wonder what she
Is
thought.
she?
And I'm like, right? And I'm like, I wonder what she thought of it. Like, like I wonder if I should ask her. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
That's
But like
so
the whole time
interesting.
I'm reading it, I just love used books and the character
Yeah.
of a used book and the idea of it before somebody
Well,
else.
I bought the Handmaid's
Love that.
Tale, their used version.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and I was like, you know what? Because I didn't want to leave without buying something.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would leave with arms
No,
full
I
of
couldn't. I said, I am buying a book here.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to tell you the truth about used books. I'm a little skeeved
I
out.
know,
Yes,
that's what I was saying.
yes.
I'm
I'm a
not.
little
I'm
bit
not.
skeeved out with
Yeah.
used books and library books.
Yeah.
There might be a booger on the stage. You know?
You read my mind. You read my mind.
Danny, that's
Yeah, I've seen some weird stuff in library books. It's,
Okay, all right.
I got the
All right,
chills.
you're gonna make me laugh.
Okay.
What do you want to banter quick?
Okay, let's change the subject. All right, so, new words.
Oh, we haven't had one in a
We
while.
know we haven't,
Look at
but
how
this,
look at how Peggy's face brightens
love
up.
words.
Loves
She
new words,
loves
yeah.
words.
so this one I've been holding on to for a long time.
Why?
Because I don't know, I just never get around to doing it. I had it on the index card on my kitchen table for like months. And now I'm going,
This
I
is
have
the time.
2 new words
Okay.
today. All right, so this one here,
This is the one that's been around for months.
Yeah.
Okay.
pluviophile.
Pluviophile.
Okay, somebody
Pluviophile.
likes something. What do they like? They like pluvies. They like.
Somebody who loves the planet Pluto.
No, but that's a good guess. That's a good
Yeah,
guess.
I would have said that too, but
Pluviophile.
P-L-U.
Is it spelled P-L-U?
Pluvio file.
I don't
Pluviophile.
Okay.
Some.
Its meaning really has nothing to do with the spelling of the word.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All right,
it's
yeah.
something like I wouldn't be able to guess by
Okay.
looking at the
All
root
right.
of the word.
Okay, then.
So a pluviophile is a person who enjoys rain.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, I like rain.
I love
too.
the rain.
I like it.
I love walking in the rain.
When I was a
Yeah.
kid, I used to love to go out in the summer rain.
Yes.
We used to go out, and we used to go, there was a tree next door to our house, and it had low branches, and we would pull on the branches after the rainstorm and get all wet.
I love
Only
the rain.
if it wasn't lightning, though. That's obviously.
Yeah, I don't go out in lightning. I'm a little afraid. My kids
Well,
love
yeah.
lightning storms, but I never did.
Oh, I don't mind the storms. I just won't go out.
I
in
love
the-
going to the beach right before a hurricane hits.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well, 'cause of
love
the-
that. I
Yeah.
just love walking along the beach and it's raining, and it's so wild out there.
Yeah.
And
So
I
we're
usually
gonna
bring a
need to-
dog and we just
Yeah.
like hang out there. I love that.
So we're
Yeah.
all pluvia. You know what
Yeah.
you should do for a future podcast? Give us a quiz to see what words we remember
Oh,
the
yeah.
definitions.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll have to go back over. That was before I started recording, I
Yeah.
think.
Because
I don't know if I have words in
You've taught
here.
us a lot of words. Even Wordle. Remember one of your words popped up on Wordle.
On
and
Wii, one of my favorite words.
I pinged her that one.
Oh, look at this. I do. I have my words
So you can
in
give us
here.
a quiz.
Yeah. And now my other word, this
Okay.
one I just discovered earlier this week. I never heard of this word. It's such a fun sounding word. Do you know what a snollygoster is? SNOLLYGOSTER, snollygoster.
That's the latest creation from Willy Wonka.
It sounds like it could be.
A snow guster or guster?
Goster, snollygoster.
Is that one word to say?
It's very
I
fun.
like this
Could
word
I
already.
call you a snolly guster?
No, I am definitely
Could
not
I
a
call
snolly.
all right,
Nope.
who would be a snolly guster?
Donald Trump is a snollygoster.
Oh, but
Then
that
he's
seems such a nice word, though.
I know,
Snolly
he's-
But it doesn't mean a nice thing.
What is it?
What does it mean?
It is a clever, unscrupulous person.
Never when he's not clever.
Well, he is. He's clever. He gets people
Yeah.
to follow him. He
Good
is
point.
clever.
Is
All
it
right, you're
snolly
right.
or snully?
Snolly. SNO.
A clever
Okay, so
person.
this unscrupulous.
You're
Unscrupulous.
such
All
a
right, so the
snollygoster.
origin of snollygoster.
Can I have it in a sentence?
Yes, I'm going to give you. Do you want the sentence first or the origin? Snollygoster is a slang term of uncertain origin. It has been proposed that it is connected to Snallygaster, a mythical
But don't
monster from Maryland with a name derived from German Schnellgeister, quick spirits. One compilation here is that Snallygaster first appears in the 1940s, while Snollygoster was first recorded in English a century earlier in the 1840s. So an example of Snollygoster used in a sentence,
Trump's name should
Is-
come up.
not really, but it's him. The Snollygoster managed to convince much of the audience that his political rivals were responsible for his own errors and judgments. If that is not Donald Trump, nothing is. It's
All right.
perfect.
Democrats, this is your new slogan for the next election. Snollygoster.
Don't elect a Snollygoster.
I have to write this down because I gotta remember this one.
Snollygoster. I like the word. I do. It's a
Snollygoster.
fun word.
It is
really
a fun word, and even the way it looks. Look at how it looks. Snollygoster.
Can't look that
Oh, that is too fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that looks like how I thought it would be spelled.
Yeah. Well, that came up in dictionary.com word of the day.
Love
One
it.
day.
Thank you,
So-
Peg, for all
Yeah,
these
you're
words.
welcome.
I just
I love it.
absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Oh yeah, I've got to remember that one for
Yeah.
the quiz. That one.
Yeah, Snollygoster. Just remember Donald Trump and
Yeah.
Snollygoster,
Yeah.
and then you'll know what it
Yes,
is.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So, any other topics for banter this week?
Well, I know we're gonna probably move on to taste the wine.
Oh.
We're gonna discuss.
So what do we think of this wine now? Have you tasted it yet?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I like
I
it.
It's a
like
red. We haven't done a good red in a
It's
while.
smooth.
Mm-hmm. It's a new one for me.
It's very dry.
okay.
It is lighter than a Cabernet. I think it's a little bit, it's not light, a medium bodied. I'm going to say it's a medium bodied.
Any guesses as to what kind of wine it is?
I'm going to say, let me take another sip here.
Go ahead.
Would you do a Merlot? Would you do a
I
Merlot?
like Merlot.
Okay.
Oh, I like a Merlot. I really
So this
do.
is not a Merlot.
I'm not going to say yet.
It's not a Pinot Noir because it's not light enough.
She's trying to read me. Because I do have everything in my face, so I can't, like, don't look at me.
It's, I'm gonna say, this is the Tempranillo.
Tempranillo.
Tempranillo?
What are you gonna say?
Could be a blend.
And what would you say?
Oh, it could be a blend.
Could be a blend.
What would you rate this as far as Wildflowers?
Oh, I like this.
I would say 4.5.
Oh, that's a good
For
ranking.
me, that's, yeah.
That's for a red. That's good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I would go along with that. 4.5.
Yeah, I actually like this too. I would
It's very
say.
good.
Have you had it before today?
No. I bought this at the Stewart Leonard's wine store.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I
That's
got
where I
that.
got my champagne at the Stu Leonard's.
Yeah, I like that one. I go whenever I get my hair done. That
Yes,
right
that's
there.
right.
Griselda, hi Griselda. I usually stop there on that afterwards, and then I go and get this one. So this wine,
Is it a Malbec?
no, this one is about $22.99.
Okay.
It is a red blend.
Oh, so it is a blend.
Yeah.
It is a blend. I like the bottle. I like the name. I've never had this company before that I'm
Okay.
aware of.
Let me take a picture.
It's called Smith and Hook.
Oh, I never heard of
It's
them
kind of
either.
a cool bottle.
Oh, I like the label.
Isn't it
Yeah,
nice?
yeah, that's a real.
Yeah. It looks old-fashioned. It looks
Right?
like it would be the storefronts of an old
Yes,
shop in
yes.
England.
That's why I liked it. It's from.
Yeah.
This is a 2018 red wine blend, and so I looked it
From
up.
where?
Oh, good question. Let's see. The Central Coast.
Oh, okay, California.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So this is what they say. An expressive dark features vibrant aromas of cranberry, dark cherry, and plum, underscored by notes of mushroom and subtle hints of lavender.
Oh.
That was intriguing.
That's
to
new,
me.
yeah.
I usually don't like mushrooms, but
What is
like
it a blend
mushrooms?
of?
no, I don't care for
Oh, I
mushrooms.
love mushrooms.
What is the blend?
Let's see. The blend is 34% Merlot, 33% Petite Syrah,
Oh, I like it too.
22% Cabernet,
That's all the ones that I like.
4% Cabernet Franc,
Okay.
Oh.
4% Malbec,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and 3%, I don't know this one, Petit Verdot,
Oh, I don't know either.
No, how do you spell that?
Verdot.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, they said it pairs perfectly with a grilled New York steak, charcuterie board, or a creamy mushroom pate with a crusty baguette.
How about Doritos?
It's working so
That's
far.
what I've been eating. Very nice. Nice wine.
I like this one. Yeah,
So you like the idea of keeping us on our toes?
You know what I do? I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm
I
going
like
to
it.
bring the wine tasting
Okay.
mats that I bought. They're actually pieces of paper.
Yeah. You said that.
No, I'm gonna remember. You know what? 'Cause I have to put them in my car, and then we could do that all the time with the wine. when we
I
have
just like
time.
not getting preconceived ideas. Sometimes we
No,
get that
I think
way
it's an
about it's like the
excellent
voice
idea.
for wines.
Yes, exactly. That's right. You can't see them. You know.
Right. You just-
So Wildflowers we're just doing things different because that's what we're supposed to do. Like, we're mixing it up. I like
Mixing it
that.
up.
That's right.
There was, yeah.
That was a good attempt at an analogy.
You gave me such a look that you're like, what is she trying to say? I'm just like, whatever. Okay.
But I'm intrigued here about what you got.
Oh,
in
my
front of
turn
you.
for the book. Okay.
Yes.
So the book that I'm going to be talking about is Women We Buried, Women We Burned by
I thought that you
Rachel
talked about that.
Louise Snyder. No,
I don't remember this.
not. I did.
Maybe
a
you said that you were going to
I did a
talk about it.
TikTok.
Okay.
I think I did it on TikTok.
Okay.
But so if you want to watch me on TikTok, it's an author's guide. Anyway, this is a memoir, and I did probably mention it when I was talking about Of Little Faith, my other novel, because she was being raised in a very fundamental religious, abusive
Oh yeah.
family. And I just found it. You okay, Peggy?
My elbow.
Oh no, she got hurt. As I was reading, I just kept thinking, oh my God, this is so much what my novel was about, and this is the real world. So one of the, sometimes I love when I read a sentence that I think just really stands out. And this one, I just love the way she said this. She goes, "My mother seemed old to me then." This is early on in the book. 35. Her mother was 35. It was only years still to come that brought her youth into sharp focus, as I myself aged toward that number. She was old, and then she was young. I was young, and then I was old. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so, we can relate to that. You know, we talk about, we think of our parents, and I know you and I've talked about it, like our mothers or our grandmothers seem so old, and yet they were in their 40s or whatever. But this is one thing that how she was raised, and it was like indoctrinated, that she told her grandmother, and I think she was like 7 or 8 at the time, she told her grandmother that her grandmother was going to hell. She just told her because, and I had to share, because I remember Jason, my son, when he was about that age, said the same thing to my then husband's mother. Grandma, you're going to hell. And he said it so like, that's because...
Innocently, yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, what are we teaching my son?
Yeah.
Why
did he think that she was going to hell?
Because we were going to the church that we were as a fundamental Christian, and he knew that he heard, Rob and I talking about, they're going to hell, probably. We probably said that. That's who the kind of...
You were so
and you were
up, Carol.
Yeah. Oh, and
you were a fundamentalist, right?
I was a fundamentalist, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, brought me back to that.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, so that's why I wrote A Little Faith, because I was like, wow. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a paragraph on page 130. Okay. She goes, if I abided by his rules, talking about her father, my father told me, I would be allowed home. But those rules entailed church 3 times a week, a daily devotions, and a willingness to, as he put it, submit to God. And even though I'd only been gone a few months, I couldn't imagine myself living back in my dad's house, waking up for church on Sunday mornings and raising my hands in prayer, singing songs, and sitting through my uncle's sermons. I knew that he meant more than just following the rules about curfews and television shows. What he really meant was I'd have to become a Christian. That is his definition of a Christian, with the superficial joy they all projected to one another. I'd have to punctuate my speech like they did with praise the Lord, or hallelujah, Lord, or Jesus doesn't give us more than we can bear. Once, when I was a little older, I asked my dad about retirement and Social Security. He didn't think about those things at all, he said, because his father owned the cattle on 1,000 hills, and that's a reference to the book of Psalm. God will care for his flock in their time of need. And that's how, I believed at one point, and it was really...
Look to the lilies of the field. Isn't that in the Bible about, like, you don't need these earthly things God will take care of you.
Exactly. So even though she hated school and gave her father a run for his money, and she did, she really gave, but doing not only worldly things, she was also extremely rebellious. Eventually, though, education saved her. She didn't see the world as evil as she'd been raised. And here is her bio, because the education was in under religious teachings, so it was being brainwashed. Got whippings, literal whippings, where she couldn't sit down for days because it was that bad. And she wasn't the only one. She had siblings. But this is now her bio. Rachel Louise Snyder is the author of Fugitive Denim, the novel What We've Lost Is Nothing, and No Visible Bruises. She's a winner of the J. Anthony Lucas Award, the Hillman Prize, and the Helen Bernstein Book Award, and finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award, Los Angeles Times Book Prize, and Kirkus Prize. Her work has appeared in the New Yorker and the New York Times, Slate, and elsewhere. A 2021 Guggenheim Fellow. Snyder is a professor of creative writing and journalism at American University. She lives in Washington, D.C. She did not want to go to school. She dropped out at a very young age, and it wasn't until she got out of that situation that she realized the importance of of education. So the other half of the book, and that you would like, is so much of her world traveling and how she discovered how so much in the world other people lived,
Yeah.
because she was so protected.
Yeah, she was isolated in
Absolutely.
her own little
Absolutely.
enclave,
Forced,
you know. Yeah.
And so she went on to travel the world. One afternoon on the outskirts of Bucharest, we met a woman who had been forced to have 5 children. Now at 32, she was a grandmother.
32. A grandmother.
A grandmother.
32.
Yeah. I didn't intentionally gravitate towards stories of women. I was interested in human rights, which often boiled down to this question: who was winning and who was losing? And over again, country after country, story after story, it was the men who were winning and the women who were losing. Not always, not everywhere,
Yep.
but most often, and by a wide, wide margin. So, and then she also talks about historical erasure, like how we erase history. And she just, also another thing that was so interesting that was similar to my novel of Little Faith, is she trying to decide should she have a child or not. And that was a big thing in Of Little Faith. So all the while I kept thinking about how so many people would struggle to believe what it means to be raised in an abusive home that is supposed to be loving and in the name of God. Rachel lived it, and her characters in my novel were based on people I actually knew. So I'd give this memoir 5 Wildflowers, just because I think that people that aren't familiar with this lifestyle, because I got pulled into this type of lifestyle because my mother had put her grandmother on such a pedestal, and her grandmother was a fundamentalist to a degree, but a loving woman, very loving. And so I looked up to that. So that part of the religion, I really like, that's what I wanted to emulate. But then it gets you into like such subservient, women weren't supposed to talk back to their husbands, and you had to trust, I had to trust my husband at the time, like if he was going to make a mistake for us, oh well.
Was your husband a fundamentalist at the time, or no?
At the same time we got roped into, and I say roped in it. We made the decision that we got, but we got arraigned eventually, because some of the questions, like I even had a minister tell me, because the questions you're asking no one can answer, and I said, well, then your God isn't big enough for me. Like
It's so common with like the Christian right too.
Oh,
like the most recent Supreme Court case.
Yes.
With the woman who would not design the website
Yes.
for the gay couple.
And it turned out that was all fabricated.
I know. But you call yourself a Christian? Do you ask yourself, what would Jesus do?
Right.
I mean, I am not religious at all.
Right.
But if you're a devout Christian, that's what you should be thinking.
Yes.
Like you are judging these people,
Right.
and judging their lifestyle. Love comes in all different colors. Who are you to judge someone for who they love?
That's the thing.
And
the Bible
you're a
says
bad
judge-
Christian in my mind.
It says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." But then there's also another verse that's saying that do not hang out with people that aren't of the cloth. So not the cloth.
Or because then you might have your mind open.
Exactly.
Different ideals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jehovah's Witnesses are like that too. Teresa has told
that's
me
right.
like you don't go outside your circle because
Right.
you don't want to see how the other people are living and what they're thinking, and a lot of religion to me is going to be the downfall of
It already is.
mankind.
I really
It's
feel
just
Well, the novel I finished reading, which I'll talk about next time, it does have a lot of political and religious commentary, running through
Okay.
it, and one of the paragraphs which I marked, because I want to read it, but it's essentially the Bible huggers have hijacked the Republican Party
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
and
yeah.
have made them an extinct, but they don't know it yet.
they know it, but they're taking money from
and
them.
it was very well written, that paragraph, and I go, wow, I go, this is interesting,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
it upsets me that I fell for it, but it was a journey I guess I had to go through. My mother was heartbroken when she found out that I strayed, because it's a fear-mongering thing too, because I did almost have a mental breakdown where I thought the devil's winning, I'm going to hell. And it's like, why would a loving God who knows we are, limited in our knowledge, would send us to hell because we have, we want to think, so 5 stars, women we buried, women we burned, Rachel Louise Snyder. I strongly encourage
Is it out already?
Wait, did I write when this was out? This will be out, yes, May. It came out in May.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Who publishes it?
This is published by, wait, what is that symbol? Is that Simon & Schuster? Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury is Macmillan?
Maybe. Oh, wait, what's that symbol? Is that Macmillan?
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, whatever. Look
Bloomsbury.
for it, but
Yeah.
it's a topic
Sounds like
that
a very good.
yeah, it's
Sounds
a
like
topic
it could
that,
be a movie.
yeah, and it's a topic that means a lot to me, and I know a lot of people are like, why would I want to read about that? Like, it's just a foreign concept to be pulled into a religion and that kind of thing. But I just feel like Peggy said, it's what's happening with the Supreme Court now and all that.
It's really is sickening.
Yeah, it's
It
very-
really is sickening.
And interesting how education saved her. Another Supreme Court decision
I know.
is
Exactly.
about
I know.
education. I wonder if it would have not been called loan forgiveness, but rather a student loan bailout. It might have been a little.
Well, that's the
Because
thing
here
too
it
with
is,
everybody
we
says,
can
oh,
bail
it's
out.
so much money. And I said, how come
We
the
can bail out our
Republican Party
companies and the 1%.
exactly give them the lowest tax rates,
Yeah.
give them all the loopholes, subsidize their businesses.
No.
Drink a lot of wine.
These
Yeah.
banks.
We
can bail them out completely.
I know.
The auto industry.
But let's
everything.
not help anybody in
Well,
the
up to-
lower
And
and
it's
middle
up, and it's
classes.
not 20. It's up to 20,000. Like it's not.
Uh-huh.
Now these people have 100,000 or
Yeah.
more. It's insane.
It is
you know?
insane. It is
then-
insane.
people-
And
but this is what
they-
they block.
I
They don't
think
want
that-
people to get educated.
I really think that this is going to hurt the Republican Party,
Well,
these
I hope
decisions.
so.
Something
Especially
else.
the student loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
And what was the third case?
Oh, it was just the schools, the colleges,
Affirmative action.
Oh, affirmative action.
Yeah.
They already said when California did that a few years ago, that enrollments of black students dropped 50%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Folks, this is I know a lot of people are like, yay,
We'll
that's what
talk about
Trump
it
did.
next time.
But yeah,
I haven't
okay.
read the decisions yet. They just
All right.
came out, so I'm gonna.
Anyway.
I want to before I comment more. I want to actually read them and the dissents.
Okay.
So I
All
will,
right.
but I'm
Okay.
not happy with them, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to
Yeah.
move on to a little. I want to say lighthearted.
Yeah,
something,
this
but
was
it's
You know
very
what? I don't
intriguing
know if it's
subject.
lighthearted, and I
Right.
don't know a lot about it, but it's been very current in the news with the whistleblower about the UFOs, which are no longer called UFOs.
Okay, now when you say whistle, because I don't know this story. I
The
have not put
FAA
news.
is involved in all this stuff.
Not
so-
probably my branch.
Yeah, I
but,
guess not.
Yeah,
I want to hear about it. I
Okay,
wanna
so
hear
let
what
me
this
get
is.
to it. You know me, I never have my notes in any kind of order.
Do
So
you have enough light?
yes, I do.
It's
Okay.
dark in here.
It
Can you
is
see
dark.
us?
No, I can see fine.
Wait. Let me try just a little bit.
Good, you're gonna have glare on the sinus.
She yells at us with the light.
Let me see. Let me
These
get
two are
myself.
very high maintenance.
Okay.
I'm just kind of low.
So first I'm going to talk about the whistleblower. Okay. So
Okay.
this is very recent,
All right.
just in the last week and a half.
I really haven't been watching the news too
Yeah, I'm
much
not
this week.
familiar with
No.
this whistleblower.
Yeah. So anyway, his name is David Grush, and he's a decorated combat officer, and he worked in the government's unidentified aerial phenomena department. Okay, so it's a task force actually, and he testified before Congress under oath that that the government has recovered and examined crash materials, and let me read it because I'm very inarticulate sometimes.
No, that's okay.
He testified under oath that he had been reliably told and given evidence of secret government programs that recovered and analyzed crash materials, and that we have these materials and it is being kept from Congress. And they said a lot of people in very high places in the government are unaware of it too. And it's being funded. And nobody, nobody knows about this. It's a secret. And it's being
Very
hidden.
blacklist.
Yes. He was backed up by others who worked with him and who worked in this organization. So I think that there's going to be a report about it. This is all very, very recent.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of information. So he claims that there were crafts that have been shown to be of non-human origin definitively. He doesn't have direct access and he never saw them himself or touched them, but he has seen documentation, photos, and spoken with people involved. Now, this is no crank guy. This is a decorated combat officer who works for the government.
But I also think that we're arrogant to think that we are the only species in the universe.
Yeah.
I think
It's like
that's
the
what
movie Contact.
Yeah.
If it's just us, it's an awful waste of space.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the info has been given
Now,
to
I didn't
Congress
hear
now.
about that. Where did
This
you-
has been in the New York Times. It's been on CNN.
I
know.
really must have been out of the loop this week.
Yeah.
It's been
And I
very,
guess
it's been very busy
so I
for
don't know
us.
why I missed that.
All right. So anyway, so this is an ongoing thing,
Right.
and there's also a problem with the whole UFO thing. Well, first of all, they're not called UFOs anymore. There's a new name for them, and they are called
Look at her.
unidentified anomalous phenomenon. And anomalous means it's UAP.
UAF is United States Air Force.
No. Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
So with a P. Okay.
Yes.
UAP.
Yes. So anomalous means out of the ordinary,
Right.
irregular,
So
not normal.
I don't know.
So it's it could be anything, because they have also seen things under in the ocean. There's been sightings of things. Navy pilots
Like
and
mermaids.
no.
Yeah.
No, not mermaids. No, not mermaids.
Loch
But
Ness.
vessels.
Loch Ness.
Oh yeah.
And not
I
things
know.
like that,
Yeah,
but
right, right.
a craft.
Yeah.
And so let's see.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, the ocean
There
is
was
so
one of the things I
undiscovered.
read. It might be in one of these numerous notes. I'm going to read some of them. But anyway, the most common characteristics reported, because now the government's starting to be a little more forthcoming, but they're still holding back tremendously.
I'm sure they know.
The whole Area 51 thing has been going on since the 1940s.
forever.
Right.
And the reason why, excuse me, that champagne is killing me. The reason why
That
is
was
because
from last
that was last week. It's because it's so secret, and it still is going on today. You can't get in there in Nevada.
Right.
They don't
No.
let journalists in.
No.
It's all gated. You can't.
And this
People
is
are
like,
trying.
and this is
And
taxpayer funded.
That creates conspiracy
Yeah.
theories. So,
All right. So, what do you believe? Do you believe that there's life out there, and that if yes, have they traveled here?
I'm skeptical, but I'm also open to it. I don't believe that we could be the only planet in the whole universe that has life on it.
Right.
I would be open to it. I have never had that experience. The only experience I ever had was, I've always taken pictures. I've always been a camera person. And even before my kids were born, I had stepchildren who were young. And we used to take them, I lived in Queens, and we used to take them to Forest Park, which is a very big, beautiful park in Glendale, Woodhaven. It's big. And I always used to do slides. I used Kodachrome. And when I had them developed and I put them in my slide projector in Forest Park, and in either 2 or 3 of them, I still do have the photos. I think my sister might be in possession of them. I took them consecutively, and there was a silver disc here. The next one, it was over here. The next one was over there. I don't know if it was a flaw in the film, but my first thought was, did I photograph a UFO? Like, how did that move like that? When my sisters, my younger sisters, 3 of my younger sisters were little, and I was little too. I was a little girl, and we lived in Brooklyn. Now, we were texting last night about it, and we all have a different remembrance of it.
Yeah.
But the way I remembered it was that Maureen and Monica, 2 of my younger sisters, they must have been about 6 or 7 at the time. They were standing at our living room window, and they looked up. It was Christmas Eve, and they saw a red ball going across the sky. Now, Nora, I don't have a memory that Nora was there, but Nora said I was there. And yes, and we said, Santa Claus,
Right,
it's
right.
Christmas Eve.
Right.
Now, Maureen and Monica say, no, we were outside in the gate. You know how in Brooklyn everybody has,
Right.
you don't have a lawn, you have a gate around your property, a wrought iron gate. And I said, my memory is that you guys were standing at the window, and Nora remembered it that way too. But they swear that they saw that red ball. It was real, but to little kids, it's
Right.
Santa Claus.
Right, but you're also your imagination on Christmas Eve. That one
You're
is-
expecting.
Yeah,
to
like, because
see.
I woke up Connie, because we shared a bedroom when we were real little on Christmas Eve, and I said, I hear Santa Claus. I thought
Yeah.
for sure I heard, and I could have been hearing my parents putting gifts under the tree, but,
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's,
Well, I told you the story. Samantha thought I was Santa Claus. She
Right.
saw me one,
Right.
But I had something similar with that, with where I was probably 7 maybe, and I
Yeah.
did sneak out of the room on Christmas Eve too. Went
Yeah.
outside, looked outside, and I saw something in the sky going.
Yeah.
Where I was so afraid because now I've been seen
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
went and I hid behind because our garbage can was there was like a cutout between the stove and the countertop. The counter. I pulled the garbage can out and hid.
Oh my God.
And pulled the garbage can back. And I was just so afraid because I thought Santa saw me.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Until my mom found me, and then of course I had to be bad, but I did. It was a sleigh.
Yeah.
It was a sleigh
Yeah.
with in my mind.
course,
I
yeah.
thought there was something going on that
Right.
that was a sleigh.
And that's why I feel like that can be our very
Yeah.
overactive imagination,
Yeah.
but this other stuff that you're saying is,
Yeah.
like, I've never seen, well, actually one time when Lisa, Kathy, and I were at Jones Beach, and we were sitting on the beach, it was at night, and we were like, what is that in the sky? What is that? And it was just like, it was just like a little shaky, and it was just like going like this, and it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it not? But I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been any number of things.
But one time I was at my friend Grace's house, and I was hanging. It was for a sleepover, and her and I we were watching. She had a TV in her room, which was awesome, and we were watching movies or whatever we were doing, and then we ended up looking. There was something in the sky that was going like that, very erratic,
really?
kind of. And we called her father and Charlie, and he saw it too.
Okay.
And we were like, this is really weird. And while we were there, he ended up calling the planetarium.
Oh.
Look, and they were like, yes, we are aware of this. We're keeping an eye on it too.
Yeah.
It's been reported to us. We're watching it too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, wow, thanks so much for him that he believed
Yeah.
us and came along and But that
you
was
never heard anything.
No, of course we wouldn't hear
Yeah,
anything back.
but most of the things, I have it written down here somewhere, but don't ask me where the hell it is. But most of the things that the government investigates, I think between 2000 and something. Oh, okay. In 2021, the Pentagon said of 144 sightings made by military pilots
Yeah.
since 2004, only 1 remains unexplained. Most of the times it's a drone, it's some kind of hoax, like people projecting things.
Right.
It could be a balloon, a
But do
weather
you think
balloon.
that that's actually true? Like, are they
Well, a lot of people think that the Pentagon is the one that's keeping all this from us.
That's right.
So, but that's where the conspiracy theories come in.
What was the one where you said the FAA was involved in it?
I can't remember the
Oh.
FAA. I already read that.
All right, no worries.
Well, one of the things that came out is that people are afraid, like commercial pilots, and even a lot of times military pilots, they're afraid. They hesitate to report these things because it's a fringe belief.
Oh.
It's like, everybody thinks that you're crazy, it's fringe. But then I went on to read, and they brought up religion. This was Ezra Klein, who writes for the New York Times. He did a podcast about all of this.
Oh, okay.
Very, very recently. I sent you the link.
Oh, okay, right.
And he brought the fact out that religious beliefs, religious people believe
Nonsense.
in God.
Yeah, nonsense.
They believe in resurrection.
But they also
believe in
But they believe that angels could be aliens because of the halo could be something other than a halo.
But just the fact that religious beliefs are not considered fringe beliefs.
Virgin birth.
Yeah, all this resurrections.
Two by two.
Exactly. But that's all accepted. We don't judge people for that. But if somebody sees something unidentified in the sky or in the ocean,
That's a
like,
very,
oh,
that's a very.
I never even thought of that, and I said, wow, that is a great point, because we believe some, not we personally,
Right.
but we believe some really curious
So
shit.
we've accepted some sort of batshit.
Right.
You know what? We're not accepting another.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I don't know if this has to do with UFOs, but how come there used to be a number of years where the Bermuda Triangle was like.
I was so
Oh my
fascinated
God,
with that.
yes, I remember
I used to
so.
read
But
all
we don't
about
hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden now we don't hear about that.
Yeah,
I know.
I used to read everything I could on that when I
But
was younger.
why are we not hearing anything more?
Because maybe it was just nothing but a big frickin' hoax. Who the heck knows?
No, there's some. I don't know.
It's like Area 51, and I know somebody who actually believed it. Like a lot of people still believe
know
in
somebody
Area
who worked it.
51.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Oh, good. I want to hear about
No,
that.
yeah, I'm not going to talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, Area 51, a lot of people still believe that we never landed on the moon and that it was all done in a studio in Area 51.
Yeah.
I know someone who believed that at the time. I'm not going to mention any names.
Me too. Me
But-
too. I know two people that.
Yeah.
Well, one I know who my father. He was one. He's passed, so I can. He was like, no, that's a hoax. It's a hoax because he couldn't imagine it. And then other people, I won't say who, but they're like, there's something about it because there's a documentary about it, like how it's a hoax.
Uh-huh.
But I don't feel it's a hoax. I feel like
It's not a hoax.
I feel
it's
like
a freaking lunatic conspiracy theory.
I feel like yes, we can dream it, we can live it. Kennedy was right. We got there.
I know. And we're going back again.
Yeah.
We send, look what we could do.
Right.
Like that was an easy thing. I mean, it wasn't easy for the time, but
Right.
today it's just an expensive thing.
Yeah.
But very recently, but that was on June 22nd in Middletown, Ohio, some man saw rotating green lights, and it took off very, very quickly.
I feel like I
and
heard that.
yeah, it was in the Times also.
Okay, then I read
that. But unfortunately, it was only corroborated by like one or two other people, and they kind of think it was a faked thing. So and that's the problem with this. There's so many people who just fake it.
And they're smart with cameras and they know how to do that.
Well, nowadays for sure, but these have been going on for so long. When we didn't have all the access to those technology or tricks or cameras.
Yep.
And I mean, that's the whole theory of why the X-Files that show started with the X-Files.
Right.
And
Well, that's true.
Well,
It's like what was I going to say?
this is a government photo right here. I mean, the audience can't see it, but look at that. That was taken from,
I don't know
think,
what
the
I'm
military jet. In the middle
it's in the
there,
middle.
look at it.
It is
It is
aircraft.
sausage shaped. And this is a government photo.
An image taken from a video released by the Defense Department's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program of a 2004 encounter near San Diego between two Navy FAA-18F fighter jets and an unknown object. This is the credit for the photo is the U.S. Department of Defense via the New York Times.
But once
Yeah.
they get here, they see how stupid a lot of us are, they wanna get out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the government is like, these agencies are really looking for threats, you know, from
Right,
other
right.
governments. You know, so like we don't know if all these, like there's some technologies out there that they're finding, like how did this thing move that fast?
Right, yeah.
Like this, for instance,
I feel like I heard
okay,
that.
official government UFO studies began in the late 1940s with Project Sign, providing some of the most credible videos of aerial phenomena to date. Within a few years, that program eventually evolved into Project Blue Book, and we all have heard of Project Blue Book. That is like the big agency that was looking into UFOs,
Oh, okay.
which are now
Because I had never heard that.
UAPs. So they which actively investigated UFO sightings throughout much of the Cold War.
Oh,
Okay, the 2017 revelation that the U.S. government was actively researching UFOs reignited world interest in UFOs and aliens. Below are 5 of the most believable UFO sightings of the 21st century. And the first one happened lights above the New Jersey Turnpike. It takes a lot for motorists to stop along a highway to look towards the sky, but in 2001, drivers on the New Jersey Turnpike did just that. For around 15 minutes just after midnight, they marveled at the sight of strange orange and yellow lights in a V formation over the Arthur Kill waterway between Staten Island, New York, and Carteret, New Jersey. Carteret Police Department Lieutenant Daniel Tarrant was one of the witnesses, as well as other metro area residents from the Throgs Neck Bridge on Long Island and Fort Lee, New Jersey, near the George Washington Bridge. Air traffic controllers initially denied that any airplanes, military jets, or space flights could have caused the mysterious lights. But a group known as the New York Strange Phenomena Investigators claimed to receive FAA radar data that corroborated the UFO sightings from that night.
I'm a little suspicious for 2 reasons. Is that air traffic controllers did not know. They're not going to speak to air traffic controllers. It would be the FAA that would give a statement.
Yeah.
And then they say they've obtained air traffic control data. I mean, they'd have to
No, they said FAA radar data.
which they'd have to obtain,
Yeah.
which would be, I guess, maybe
Yeah.
a FOIA request, I guess.
Yeah. Well, another thing about it is a lot of these people who give this information out, they don't want anybody to know that it was them. It's like they're
Right.
doing it, you know, because they feel that they
No,
have
I
to,
just-
like the whistleblower.
Yeah.
You know, and then there was one, the USS Nimitz encounter in 2004.
That was the ship.
It was 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. For 2 weeks, the crew had been tracking objects that appeared at 80,000 feet. Commercial airlines fly
Yeah.
the
Oh, I
most
know,
36,
I know.
right?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then plummeted to hover right above the Pacific Ocean. When 2 FA-18F fighter jets from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz arrived in the area, they first saw what appeared to be churning water with a shadow of an oval shape underneath the surface. This was the one I told you about in the ocean.
Right.
Then in a few moments, a white tic-tac shaped object appeared above the water, and this shape has been reported several times. It had no visible markings to indicate an engine, wings, or windows, and infrared monitors didn't reveal any exhaust. And that's one of the characteristics that they found. Like, there's no exhaust. How are these things
But
moving? And they're not drones.
The sighting of these, or the reported sighting of these, is not modern. You're right. I mean,
Right.
it's theorized that the appearance of UFOs have been here for such a long time, and
Right.
perhaps may have been associated with some of the developments of a lot of,
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, or the Aztecs, or some
Right.
other
The pyramids and
societies that
ancient
that we
cultures.
wouldn't consider modern, but ancient,
Yeah,
but that
uh-huh.
seem to have advanced. I'm
Yeah.
trying to articulate not very well. So I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on this? Like, do you think that if we think it's possible that there is the technology out there somewhere, do you think that they've been here along and perhaps have helped humanity along the way?
I think
Well, they're doing a bad job.
Well, I think it's a possibility.
Are they?
But here's how
Are
I.
they?
But
Yeah.
also, I also think of it this way too: is like when Columbus and all the explorers landed here and saw the American Indians saw these people dressed the way they were dressed. They were aliens. It was considered aliens, I would think, to them. Like you see they don't have the same color of our skin. These white men dressed differently.
But they did.
I'm not making the connection
No, they
with
didn't.
it.
Like, they didn't erect these.
No, but I'm saying
Buildings
like
or statues
the
or anything
American
towards
Indian
it.
had to look at these people coming on their shores and like, who are these beings?
But I mean, even the Native Americans, they would, have ceremonies and pay homage to
These gods.
gods,
yeah,
or
yeah.
the sun and the
Right,
earth,
right.
like just something that's not earth-like,
Right, right.
right? And so I'm just wondering, maybe they've been here all along.
That's very true. I'm open
Yeah.
to think about any possibilities. Absolutely. I think, we've got like 2 more minutes because otherwise
Yeah.
I'm going to go over.
Well, there's so many other stories. Like there was one, United Airlines in O'Hare International Airport. All these United Airlines employees saw this. It was a metallic craft hovering over gate C-17 in 2006. A total of 12 United employees and a few witnesses outside the airport spotted the saucer-shaped craft around 4:15 p.m. They said it hovered for 5 minutes before shooting upward, where it broke a hole in the clouds enough that pilots and mechanics could see the blue sky. The news report became the most read story on the Chicago Tribune's website to that date, and I don't know.
Wait, then here? No.
No. And made the pilots.
If you
Yeah.
numbered your pages.
I know. Whatever. But anyway, there's a lot of stories like that.
So
Yeah, no,
you
absolutely.
said when you were researching this, it's like you can go down a rabbit hole.
Oh my God, there was so much information out there, and some of it was crazy. I didn't even read the crazy
All right.
stuff.
So, final words: yes or no? Is there life outside of this? If you had to pick yes or no answer.
I'm gonna say yes. There's something. I just hope that they're friendly.
My favorite
That's your
word.
first.
Absolutely. I cannot believe that there isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Am I afraid of it? It could be very powerful. It could be very scary. They could be. If they're reaching us before we reach them, then they're
Oh, I
smart.
think if they're coming here and so
Yeah,
they're
I
already
know.
reaching us before
I know.
we reach them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're smarter than
they're
us.
more advanced, I would think.
Yeah, and they could take over.
But that means there may also be civilizations that are not as advanced as we are, too, out there, too. You know,
Oh,
it's
right. Oh, yeah.
Stepping stones.
Maybe
Because
we'll discover some of them. But
Well,
Long Island has a lot of sightings because I looked that up. And it said Long Island residents reported more than 800 UFO sightings between 2001 and 215. Suffolk County has the
I
highest
can
number.
imagine because of you could see.
You see
Yeah.
better.
That's I mean, where I grew up, you saw the sky like it was just a wide open sky, nothing
Yeah.
interfering it. But I never saw anything. But that's
Did you look?
exactly not enough. Obviously, absolutely not enough. But I definitely believe.
It was
What
great.
about
It was a good
UFOs?
topic.
Yeah. Well, there's also, if you go on the History Channel website, the History Channel is such a good website. You
Yeah.
can find anything on there. They have the first encounter with a man in black. You know the movie Men in Black?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Man in Black is the one that comes to you after you've reported seeing this and say keep your mouth shut or something bad's gonna happen to you. So it happened to somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah, it happened to somebody in 1947.
I'd be so in trouble.
Yes.
I'd be like, you're the Man in Black.
Yeah. But there's a lot of interesting stuff out there to read about if you want to go down that rabbit hole.
I find it amazing
And,
that you handwrite out all these notes.
Well, sometimes I handwrite and then I get tired of it and then I start copying and pasting.
Yeah,
I
that's
love writing out. There's something
I would,
about
but I can't read
handwriting
my handwriting
that
anymore.
I enjoy too. I love it.
Well, are you guys having a good summer? We're right in the heat of things.
Go out in that night sky.
Yeah.
Look for some UFOs.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And let us
Or
know.
fireflies because they're on the decline.
Oh my God, I know, but I've been
please.
seeing them. I started seeing them last week. They
Let us know.
are. They are. Because people rake their lawns up, that's why, and use lawnmowers.
Let us know if you've seen any UFOs or fireflies. Let us know if you've seen fireflies. But thank you so much for watching. If you're still hanging in there with us.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm enjoying
it's
the wine
true.
very much.
You like it? I'll leave this with you.
No, you can take
No,